everybody, it's JP Nordia here, South African Baseball TV. It's of course Thursday night, and every week we look at bringing you the very best of what's happening in the world of baseball. Of course, welcome to 2023. If you haven't realized yet, it is of course a brand new year, which means it is another brand new year for baseball in South Africa, building on 2022 and going to be absolutely amazing in 2023. So tonight we're going to take a little bit of a look at looking forward to 2023, but we're also going to take a look at some of the activities, and no better people to tell me about what's going to happen in 2023 is of course the President of Baseball South Africa, Mr. Mark Moreau, and the Vice President of Baseball South Africa, Mr. Paddy van Niekerk. Gentlemen, nice to have you on the show. Welcome to 2023.
Thank you very much for having us, JP.
Well, Paddy, you look like you're starting to get comfortable on the internet there, and Mark, nice to have you online.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
A little bit jumpy, but nevertheless we can all hear you, which is fantastic. That's exactly what we're looking for. Let's quickly start off with you, Mark. Looking back at 2022, fantastic year for baseball. We missed you, of course, last week, but we were talking about the fact that it was an incredible year in that South Africa was probably one of the few countries that did every single World Cup.
I think we can confidently say that we were the only country in the world that actually participated in all 5 World Cups, which obviously includes the Baseball 5 as well, which was the inaugural tournament in Mexico. Yeah.
So, of course, behind the scenes then takes a supreme amount of administration to do that. Mark, are you looking at the history of 2022? Are you excited for 23?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we used the World Cup as a relaunching pad. I think we should all realize that we didn't play baseball for 2 years, so we obviously did take a knock, a strategic point of view, but also from a preparation point of view, because a lot of the playing junior baseball would have missed out on baseball development for 2 years. But nevertheless, we participated and we were very competitive. And looking forward to the year 2023, where we obviously would be much better prepared. And we have World Cups this year, which is obviously also a big benefit to us.
We just lost you there, Mark. You got another World Cup coming up this year, is that right?
Yeah, we've got 2 World Cups this year. We have the Under-12 World Cup as well as an Under-18 World Cup. This year would be slightly different in the sense that we've got an Africa qualifier to play for in January, and as well as an Under-18 Africa World Cup qualifier towards the end of January. So different to previous years, but very challenging at the same time.
Paddy, let's go to you. Of course, it's not too many days ago that the big announcement was that the National Baseball Champs for 2023 is going to be held in Gauteng this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, Gauteng are looking forward to hosting the tournament again. Dates have been set, and I think the clubs are ready to go. Players are ready to get fit and try and make their provincial or district sides, so that they can come out and compete and try and make the ultimate national side.
What does it mean, Mark? What does it mean for a club like, for example, the Boksburg Cardinals to be hosting? We know that, of course, last year was at Boersig, and thousands of people arrived, all having a great time for a 10-day period, and a lot of activity at the club itself. This year coming now, it's at the Cardinals. What does it mean for that club to be hosting an event like this, Mark?
Yeah, look, I think one must realize when a club is hosting any events, they're not just hosting it on behalf of the club; they're hosting it on behalf of their district and their provincial structure. So, and in the last 2 years, Gauteng baseball has almost strides in the development and transformation of baseball, utilizing Baseball 5 as a vehicle to transform. So I'm really looking forward to this NBC this year in Gauteng, because I think we will be able to really attract a huge numbers of baseball supporters, baseball schools attendance, etc. So I think it's enormous for the Gauteng province, because they'll be able to capitalize on all the hard work they've done in the last 2 years.
Paddy starts on 1st of April, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I think it's the dates have been set. I think we're starting off with the juniors. It's a 5-day tournament. Then we have a 1-day break, and we go straight into the senior leg of the championship. And then we've also, mustn't forget, we've also got the women in baseball as well, which we are obviously very excited about. Second year that we've actually had the women taking part. Now that women in baseball is back in the fold again. So yeah, it's going to be exciting.
So what are we expecting then, Mark, from a national perspective? All the different provinces. So we're talking about Eastern Cape and their districts. Talking about Western Cape and their districts, Free State and the districts, and some clubs directly. Of course, Limpopo. How are we really going to see a flooding of Gauteng, Mark?
I really hope so, because obviously a lot of the provinces like KZN, Limpopo and Free State and Gauteng are very closely, they're all neighbors. So, you know, the cost of transport, etc., is obviously going to be much more affordable. And that's where the major growth is at the moment. It's around Gauteng, Limpopo, Free State, and hopingly, you know, KZN, which we're trying to launch because they suffered heavily during COVID. Hopingly that's going to be a big success and draw a lot of, districts as well as provinces to the national tournament.
So it's nice to see some of the youth coming through. My understanding is also that there's a junior sort of, I mean, if we look at those age groups, you've got under 12s, you've got under 15s, you've got under 18s, you've got the girls' sides, the women's sides, you've got the under 23s. I mean, Mark, you've got quite a lot of different squads competing there, but one of I was speaking to Dean McKinnon, the president of Gauteng, and he said one of the nice competitions that you've also got this year is an opportunity competition where the under 10s will be coming to participate, but more casually.
Yes, correct. I think traditional 10 baseball, we sort of have had it in the last sort of probably 5-6 years now, and it's we call it series. So it's basically a vehicle for us to get kids into baseball. The excitement of parents is phenomenal. In that tournament, they're more excited than the kids. But as baseball followers, I think to watch the under 10s play, it's an unbelievable experience. The excitement, the professionalism that these kids want to show. And obviously they all sort of gearing them up, to be selected in the national under 12 side, in future years as well. So it's a fantastic occasion for the under 10s, and it's a lovely tournament to witness.
Let's just give a quick shout out to two of our viewers. You obviously know them, that have joined us online. Americo Juma, your head of baseball 5 in South Africa, is on the line with us. I got him. He says, Happy New Year and good luck from 2023 from Andrea in Italy. I'm sure you guys will know what that means. And then Courtney Strauss also joins us online, and Courtney is watching live right now and says, Happy New Year to all. May 2023 bring blessings abundantly. So slowly, you're starting to get your fans up. Paddy, this is also what you guys are looking for, is this sort of fan engagement, this interaction, the excitement of being able to talk baseball?
Absolutely. We've always said that baseball's always been a family sport, and even we brought it across with this selection of the nationals. National sides. Last year we had the family meetings amongst the players that were all abroad, so that whole word family just keeps on ringing to ear. So yeah, it's great to have the support of the ex-players, the current players, and yeah, it's one big happy family, South African baseball.
So have we got an idea who the competitors are going to be, the tough competitors? Mark, we touched on this last week to bring you into some of that part of the conversation, is that with Mandela Bay being promoted now into the A division, Paddy, are we still thinking that Mandela Bay is going to come and make a statement in April?
Well, as I said, the last time I was up there, they were. When I spoke to some of the guys, I spoke to their coach Jono. He said that they're not coming just to compete. They really coming to be competitive, and they training hard, and they obviously want to do well. So yeah, let's see what they can do.
Mark, of course, the if we look at NBC 2022. The big challenge was in the finals, in the seniors, eventually between Cape Town or CTBF and Gauteng A. These teams are obviously they've been dominating for a while now, but it does look like that with baseball getting stronger all around the country, that the road is not going to be that easy this time.
No, I think with Mandela, they bring a different type of brand of baseball to the tournament. They're very with the bat, whereas the other teams are not as aggressive. And I think I like the way that they teach their baseball. They teach the kids, from a very to want to hit the ball, as opposed to watching the ball and getting a walk. So they're bringing a really nice, exciting brand. But before I move on to that, I just want to say hello to Andrea and Americo, because Americo is in Zambia at the moment together with Andrea, and they are actually doing a Baseball 5 clinic in Zambia to launch Baseball 5 and it's really nice. America is one of the top coaches in the world, and Andrea's the head of Baseball 5 in World Baseball Confederation. So they're doing something really to promote, baseball 5 and baseball, in Africa. So it's a fantastic opportunity for America and to assist world to promote the game in Africa.
Yeah, and it's great to know that we can reach out to anybody in the world now. America and Zambia could connect directly to us now. Paddy, with all your friends around the world, and it doesn't matter where they are, if they're playing for the MLB, if they're playing and all our players that are playing overseas now, we can easily reach out to them, we can connect to them, we can get their side of the story, which is really fantastic. So it's great to know that America's sitting on. He messages us every week to say, what time are we on? What time are we on? So, America, I know that this time round you are watching from Zambia, and it's great for us to give you a shout out. And by the way, for those of you that are watching, Mark just mentioned Baseball 5s. And if you haven't seen Baseball 5 yet, well, I've got a Baseball 5 ball in my hand. Now, this is the blue ball. Now, this is a unique ball because normally they're playing the Baseball 5s with a yellow ball. But if you can look at this, you can see what I'm doing here. I'm actually squeezing the ball. This is the Baseball 5 soft ball that you play with your hand. So if you are watching right now, look out for what's happening inside. Mark, do you agree with me? Or Paddy, let's give you a chance. Baseball 5 is going to absolutely explode. It's going to take over the sport.
Well, it has exploded already. With all due respect, it's a great concept. It's a great vehicle for us to utilize in our development. And like Mark rightly said, especially in the Gauteng region, they really have been using it for the last couple of months. America's done a great job of going around the country, getting educators up to speed with what the game's all about, and getting kids involved. And there's a lot of kids playing. So yeah, it has already exploded, but we are expecting it to implode even more.
So Mark, have we got a national baseball 5s competition maybe coming up? Because obviously the NBC in April is all about mainstream baseball. Can we expect a couple of competitions this year?
Yeah, maybe I should just explain to the viewers and the participants that baseball 5 is an Olympic sport. It's been an approved Olympic sport, and it will the first Olympics tournament that it will hosted in Dakar, the Africa Olympic tournament in I think it's 2026, And this year is going to be the Youth World Cup, and there's going to be an Africa Youth qualifier, which will take place in May. We have, as South African Baseball, we have put in a bid to host the event in South Africa. We'll see if we'll be fortunate enough to be allocated. But yeah, so youth baseball, and as you know, as for a lot of the viewers, they should actually know that that baseball 5 is a gender equal sport. So it's one of the very few sports in the world. So you play with basically five players on the field, of which there's got to be a minimum of 2 of each gender on the field. And the baseball 5 is that that it can be played, you know, in school grounds, in the rural areas, because there's no equipment required. This baseball 5 and can be played with a tennis ball if required. And it's we certainly believe as South African baseball that baseball 5 will be the fastest growing sport in South Africa, and if not in Africa. It's a fantastic, very dynamic thing, very quick game to play, and require you know, very dynamic skills. So we really look to South Africa participating in bigger and bigger events. We participated this year in the inaugural World Cup, and we basically won the 8 games, landed up 7th in the world rankings, which is a fantastic achievement considering, you know, we've only really started baseball 5, you know, early part of last year. Yeah. So a fantastic achievement, and we're really looking forward to utilize baseball 5 not only as a sport on its own, but as a way to grow baseball.
So have we got an idea yet? Let's just recap on that. We are going to see a national baseball 5s competition this year, possibly. And am I right? Is that maybe going to be in Gauteng?
We haven't decided on the venue.
Okay, yeah.
We haven't decided on a venue yet, because obviously they've got to take that decision. But we are proposing for the baseball 5 national tournament. It will be a junior and senior tournament. It will be during 1 week. And we're hoping that it will take place from the 29th of September this year.
So if it's going to happen, and venue and all that dependent, it'll be towards the end of 23?
September this year, before the actual baseball, because obviously baseball 5 played indoors and outdoors, so it's you know, an all-round, all-year sport. And we're certainly looking forward to our very first baseball championship, baseball 5, this year.
Well, we've got another viewer that's also joined us, and it looks like it's all our colleagues. Clifton Barnes has also joined us from the Free State, and he says, Happy New Year to all the baseball family from the Free State Baseball Union. Paddy, as a Vice President of Baseball South Africa, looking at who's joined us here, you guys must be happy with this picture. You've got America, head of Baseball 5s, who's online with us. You've got Courtney Strauss, who's involved with women's development in the Western Cape. Clifton is busy, he's just joined us online. He's busy developing baseball in the Free State, and how great to see him online. And Clifton, you're going to be on air with us in the next few days, so make sure that you get your camera and your laptop and everything ready. But Paddy, isn't this fantastic to be able to see this family spirit of baseball, where everybody's just on the same page about growing baseball and having fun?
Yeah, like I mentioned early on, it is one big happy family, and what we'd like to see is more of the districts and provincial administrative people coming online and sharing with the rest of the country what they're up to and what their challenges are, and let's see how we can all work together to grow the sport in the different districts and provinces. I think it's important that we all sort of on the same page, and that we all work together to strive to make baseball a lot stronger within the country.
So Paddy, let's just talk a little bit about the NBC again now. The NBC coming up in Gauteng, you've got the juniors starting off first, and then after that the seniors get started.
Yeah, so what we do, it's normally a 5-day tournament. We normally, in the years in the past, because we're normally limited for days, We normally, the day that the one ends, the other one normally starts. But this year we're fortunate enough to be able to have a rest day, so to speak, in between. And we've done that for two reasons. Number one, purely because if we need a rain day, if we have a rain day, we need a makeup day, we'll have that available. And then secondly, there's a lot of guys are involved in both juniors and seniors with regards to coaching. Coaches that are still playing. We've got a lot of junior coaches that are coming up. So we have to obviously take that into account as well. So when we looked at the dates and the executive set the dates, we had a rest day in between, so to speak, so that we can just also give the club, the hosting club, a chance just to prepare the fields and get everything ready for the senior tournament as well.
Yeah. Mark, the other side, I mean, from obviously after this week, we start looking more at game components. At the moment, we're just talking sort of over the top umbrella South African baseball future and what's coming up in 2023 more formally. But so staying on that thread, and so, yeah, Americo and Courtney and Clifton, Paddy, you and your team and Dean and everybody, they must get themselves ready because we're going to start speaking about scores and results in the next days to come. But Mark, one of the big things about the NBC is the opportunity not only for the players but for the administrators, because you've got coaches, managers, HODs and trainers who also join you at the NBC, which is also a fantastic experience and an opportunity to learn to compete at a high environment.
I think we've always utilized the NBC as a way to groom, all the officials, to a higher level. And I think the provinces have been very clever at that. They always basically, group junior coaches with senior coaches so that they can, have the learning experience. And in that way, we can obviously, improve the quality of all our officials, and that's the umpire scorers, as you say, the HODs, the coaches, and that runs tournaments. It's a fantastic experience, a lot of hard work. But baseball is one really big family, and everybody's there to help one another. And Gauteng are they are incredible in their desire to satisfy the whole of the South African baseball family. So it's really looking forward. And the venue that they've chosen, Boxbird, has abundance of baseball fields and all in one nice big venue. So the ambiance and the excitement is fantastic.
Right, so we've got a couple of questions in, folks. Incidentally, I see it on the bottom of the screen there. There's a technical glitch here on my title. I'm not Patrick for Niekerk. Patrick is on the far right hand side. There's a technical error. We'll fix that up. That's right. Patrick is the big guy over there with the South African flag, and he's the vice president of Baseball South Africa. So technical glitch there, but we'll fix that in the editing. But incidentally, we've got. Another Tabang has joined us from Limpopo, and he also says, hello everybody, I'm busy watching. He sent us a mobile now. Hopefully I'll comment. And then of course we wait and see who's going to be entering into the competition. All that information, I've got messages here from Tony Alexander, who has joined us. I'm hoping Tony is also watching us live now, but we'll wait and see who the entries are. Patrick, that's the other thing about the competition is, in addition to the fact that you've got all those experiences that Mark just spoke about, it's also a fantastic experience opportunity for umpires and scorers.
Yeah, absolutely. I know the umpires and scorers both, as Mark was alluding to, that we actually use that as a.
We just lost you there for a second, Paddy. But Mark, let's go to you then. Same question that I'm sure Paddy will come in. Sometimes it happens when there's a phone call coming in the middle of the call. But that question, Mark, then the opportunity for umpires and scorers, and looking at the NBC 2022, it looked like a tremendous amount of administrative work, but also a great experience opportunity for the umpires and scorers.
Yeah, look, all the technical commissions, like the coaching, the umpires, and the scores, the opportunity of improving the quality. So they grade their officials at the tournament, from the various levels, and it's a nice opportunity for all the upcoming officials to try and improve their grading. So it's a lot of excitement for the officials as well. It's not just about the players; it's about the officials as well. And I think one must applaud, all the officials, because baseball is very much an amateur sport. Officials, they sacrifice their family holidays and a huge expense, for them to participate and to assist the organizers with being officials at tournament.
Paddy, welcome back. We lost you there for a second. One of the initiatives that you guys have got at the moment is the Club Finder initiative that I'm looking at your website now, the South African Baseball a website here. This is a new initiative that Baseball South Africa has got in place, which I'm thinking is one of the few sports structures that we've seen that has moved with this idea of mapping clubs and schools. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, yeah, it is a new initiative. Obviously, we South Africa and South African baseball took the stand last year to get more involved in the social media, and also thanks to you as well, JP, for all your input on that as well. You've helped us a lot along the way, and still are helping us. But it's definitely a vehicle that we're wanting to use for the public out there to utilize. You wanting to find a club, you want to find a school structure. It's all there for you to go and have a look and see and register and become part of this big happy family. So yeah, it is young days yet. I'm sure there'll be a couple of teething problems along the way, but yeah, it's something that we're very excited about, and hopefully it brings back a lot more numbers to the game.
So maybe if I can just elaborate a little bit there, folks, the way that works, if you are watching right now, if you want to find a baseball club or a baseball school near you, you've just watched a baseball game, you've just heard Paddy or Mark or Jonathan Phillips or Carbwood, or one of the guys speaking, and you're watching this and you go, I want to play baseball. Or maybe you watch one of the Major League Baseball games, or you even watch the Baseball Classic or one of the South African baseball teams who recently went overseas, or even one of the Baseball Fives matches, and you're watching it. This is just an example. You're watching that and you go, I want my kids to play baseball, or I want to join baseball. Well, on the South African baseball website, www.sabaseball.co.za, they've launched, as you can see on the top of the screen here, a product called Club Finder. And you simply go onto the site, and it'll automatically find for you, on the basis of your current geolocation, it'll find for you the nearest school or club that plays baseball. So no excuse to not get started with playing baseball. But gentlemen, I think we will leave it at that for this week. Mark, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. I think that we're going to obviously hopefully we'll get you on a lot more to talk to us about what's happening. And by the way, we've got another message here, and I'm sure, Mark, you might want to elaborate. I know that our focus today was on the NBC, but as part of 2023, I've got Dennis Burkett online with us, and he's just left a message in the chat zone who says, "Evening all, Mark, Paddy, thanks for all the hard work last year and looking forward to the tournament." So you've got Dennis online as well. Now, Dennis, if you're still watching us there, hello. And Mark and Paddy, there's another shout out for you guys.
Great,
yeah,
thanks.
Thank you. I think it's lovely to know that these guys are participating in our social media. I think, as you know, as South African baseball, we've tried to invest in digital media. We find that as South African baseball, we are a service provider to all our members, and we platform to assist them in sport, not only in South Africa but in their province districts and their club environment as well. So to get all their club members and schools, to register online part of this big South African baseball family.
And of course, Dennis is with Masters Baseball, Mark.
Correct, yes. We have a Masters, and they also had their national baseball tournament in Durban this year. 2022, October. We're in the new year, so we've got to get 2023. And they had a very successful. They're very competitive. I'd like to say that they're very competitive on and off the field.
Paddy, I suppose. Look, we're going to leave it at that. We're going to leave the Masters conversation for another day. But yeah, it was a massive success. Do we know where? Do we know yet where the Masters will be in? Will there be a Masters 2023?
Yeah. There's a national baseball tournament every. I'm not quite sure where the Masters have decided. Maybe. I can actually text you quickly and tell you where they've decided the next tournament is.
Yeah, Dennis, if you are watching us right now, I put it. Yeah, Dennis, you're on the chat zone. You can put it in there. Dennis, if you are watching live right now, I'm sure everybody will want to know where the Masters is going to be this year. So we've still got a couple of minutes on the chat zone, and we'll see if Dennis says anything there. But other than that, Paddy, thanks again for joining us. As I said, you're becoming a natural at this now. And Mark, we're of course looking forward to catching up with you again soon as well.
Yeah, no, thank you for hosting us.
I've just got a message. Sorry, I've just got a message from Dean McKinnon, who's also obviously watching as well, and he says it's Masters has been hosted in Southwest Gauteng. I do remember now.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember at our meeting. I just couldn't remember. Okay. But that was announced.
There we go.
Southwest Gauteng. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got more messages coming in here, Mark. Clifton Barnes wants to know when are they going to the Northern Cape? There's another question there. Dennis says SWG, yeah. So Southwestern, yeah. Thanks, Dennis. Also, I've just put it in. And of course, folks, thanks for mentioning that, Paddy. We were hoping to get Dean McKinnon, the president of Gauteng Baseball Federation, on air with us today, but unfortunately, he's in the bush. I'm still not really sure what you guys mean by the bush. It seems like it's a generic term for being used whenever people go out into some sort of faraway location. I've got a bush down the road from me. I've got one in my garden. I'm not really sure when you guys refer to that. But for the folks that are overseas right now, the international fans, if you are watching the show and you're overseas, please remember, South Africa is absolutely the best place to play sport. We've got a bush, and we've got fantastic weather, and of course we've got all the privileges of playing sport in South Africa. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Yeah, Mark, so Clifton wants to know when he's going to the Northern Cape.
Yes, okay, the Northern Cape is a target for us. It's
you don't have to answer that too fully there.
No. But I know exactly what he means, because it's a target where he's assisting me in developing baseball there again.
Wow.
But before we go, JP, I just want to say, for the people watching, Limpopo is a province that has been very, very effective in their baseball in the last 5 to 10 years, and this year 2022 they had 4 of their players made national teams this year, including Tabitha, who actually made it as a coach. So they've made tremendous strides. Free State have basically relaunched in the last year and a half. Clifton is a driver in baseball. They hope that some of their players will come through this year as well. And obviously, we're just looking forward to, all these people that are volunteers and make these massive sacrifices for the pleasure of the kids, really, for their future.
Yeah, Mark, we just lost you a little bit there, but I think the 2 things that I picked up from you was, one, how well Limpopo has been doing in terms of their growth structures, and that they had, I think, 4 players in the national structures got taken up there,
and 2 coaches, yeah.
And 2 coaches, yeah. So Limpopo really growing, and of course Free State just for the viewers, in case that you broke up there, Free State, of course, growing in leaps and bounds, and as you mentioned his name there, Clifton Barnes, heading things up there, and so looking forward to great stuff coming out of Free State. And Clifford White joins us as well. He says, thank you, gents, for your efforts. Look forward to the year ahead. All right, folks, it looks like the chat zone is warming up towards the end of the session here, so which is normally the case as the things. But yes, just to go back to what I was saying earlier on, Dean McKinnon was going to hopefully join us tonight. Unfortunately, so Dean, if you are watching right now, we know that you are away, but we're hoping to get you on the show either next week or many times still in this year to get a little bit more deeper information about the National Baseball Champs that's going to happen in 2023. We know that you've got a lot of exciting things planned for 2023, local business involvement and fan fun and all sorts of things like that, and we're waiting to find out more about that. Paddy, we'll say thanks to you, and hopefully we'll catch you again in the next few days.
Thanks for having me.
And Mark, from our side as well, we'll leave it at that. We hopefully get you on board or so in the next couple of days.
Very much, JP, and good evening to everybody, and have a fantastic 23 baseball year.
Yep,
100%.
It's definitely going to be an exciting year for baseball. So keep watching the channel. For those of you that are watching right now, make sure you like, subscribe, and of course ring the bell so that you always get notified as soon as there is a video that gets loaded, or as soon as there is a live stream that gets plugged in. So if you're watching right now, subscribe to the channel, like the bell. Don't forget, visit the website, www.sabaseball.co.za. You can find out everything that you need to know about baseball in South Africa. You can find out how to join a club. You can find out all about the technical details, about the coaches' commissions and the scorers' commissions and the umpires' commissions, everything that you need to know. And of course, the link from South African baseball into international baseball. So all on the website. Don't forget, of course, Instagram, Facebook, as well as Twitter at South African Baseball. Just to follow the socials then. So, folks, of course, we hope to see you again next week. And, before we go, I just have to bring my guests back on because, as I said, Mark, you'll find this very interesting. I'm just quickly going to tell you guys, and then I won't open the conversation again straight away, but Hector Polino joins us online from the Dominican Republic, and he says, well, I hope I'm going to say this right, because I'm probably going to say this all wrong, so it's a bit risky, but I'm going to read it to you the way that he said it's Saludos desde República Dominica do. Okay, so hopefully we got that one right, but you've got a viewer there, Hector Polino, all the way from the Dominican Republic, and then of course Ray van der Ros also joins us live. Ray is watching right now and he says, very interesting talk. Thanks, Ray. Yeah, so gentlemen, as I said, I'm going to do you the privilege of giving you that break, and of course we're looking to find out more about that. And there we go, folks. Of course, our guests all online watching us now as well. Look out then this year for all the excitement, as we said, we're going to talk about, especially the fixtures, the results, and of course the games, and our South African baseball players who are doing so well. We bring them online and we talk to them all directly. But it's been a pleasure having the president of South African baseball, Mr. Mark Moreau, and the vice president of South African baseball, Mr. Paddy van Niekerk, online with us. So folks, with that, we'll say goodnight, and we'll of course see you again next week, same time, same place. Tell your friends, as I say, like, subscribe. Bye-bye.